Live in the 13th arrondissement of Paris. It's Kat Walker, editor in mischief of Paris Defined. If I get disconnected, don't worry. I will reconnect rather quickly because it might just be a battery or my connection. Not sure. So far the connection's been working pretty well today. So looks like we're back on. If you have any questions for me, just let me know. Drop it in the chat and I'll try to answer. And I'm going to ride to the Bastille, the Notre Dame. We're gonna ride along the River Seine for a little bit. Kind of palate cleanser. So if you're wondering if Paris is safe, people are letting their 7-year-old kids walk around 2 blocks away from the protest full of the riot police. So that's the public opinion. Let's go around. Maybe, which way should I go? We're on Boulevard Pensant Oriol. I think I said that right. Critique my Frenching if you want. Okay, so let's check out the Notre Dame, let's check out the river, see what's going on, and see if Paris is safe or not. Looks pretty safe. All these people are pretty chill. The bike lane is where the bike lane is here. They're pretty new, so it takes some getting used to. I don't know this neighborhood at all. I'm here very infrequently. So this is one of the few above ground metro lines, the line 6. I think it's completely above ground, if not mostly, probably not completely, mostly above ground. So people that were at the protest have now, a lot of them have spread out, gone home, except for the people who are boxed in at the Place d'Italie. And those people are doing kind of battle with the police, the riot police, who are most likely tear gassing them. Right now, I don't know, today I got out before things got interesting. So I'm heading towards the river, or at least I think I am. I'm aiming to. I don't really know this neighborhood, so I'm going kind of by a vibe. To feel my way towards the river. Some street art. I fucked with Banksy. Oh, did you? How was it? The dog is like, I'll take 2 pain au chocolat. They're like, no doggy, chocolate's bad for you. It's like, I don't care. I don't want that fake doggy chocolate. Another guy with a motorcycle that looks very similar to the unmarked police motorcycle, so he probably is like, I can't wait to get out. It's funny because I never see those motorcycles in use that are the unmarked police ones, so they're probably really fancy ones that they're itching to take out for a run. At least that was the vibe. They would like go this way and then instead of just like posting up, they'd like do a little demi-tour. Meanwhile, there's a tour bus. Looks like a Polish tour bus. Well, it's parked, so I don't know where the Polish tourists are, but it'd be pretty funny if they were here. So as you can see, you know, we're a few minutes away now from the Place d'Italie. Place d'Italie, and it's, you know, life is normal. So Paris is still just as safe as it always is, which is pretty safe. I'm a female, okay? I ride my bike everywhere, even super late at night. So, ooh, I can hear explosions in the distance. So Those are either the fireworks set off by the protesters or the tear gas, but the tear gas doesn't really make a sound. I don't know, I can't remember. Did it? It looks like they shoot this kind of cannon and it goes above the heads of the people and then it drops these canisters on everybody. And so they look like little fireworks when they're in the sky, and then they drop on the ground and they're spraying powder everywhere. So, but you saw that, and you could look at the lives from the past couple weeks because we've been going to the protests. So you can see everything you want to see and what it's like to be deep inside and not get out before the tear gassing and the kettling starts. So today we're going to take a ride on the Seine and we're going to look at the Notre Dame, the Bastille Monument. Technically they have the that's interesting. Should we go on this side? Yeah, let's go on this side. Like, protesting is extremely French. People are super chill about it. Even when they're very close to it, everybody's just relaxed and walking around. They're very underreactive. I think this light is not functioning. I think that's what's going on. Okay, I'll go with all the other bikers then. So yeah, you can see that aside from this, which may or may not be related to the protest, to the rest of the city, you know, people are just kind of doing their thing. So we'll get down on the waterfront. We'll take a nice ride. Up ahead where that train is, I think is where I can get down on the waterfront and have a continuous ride without cobblestones. Cobblestones are my mortal foe. Maybe not mortal, let's not say mortal, that would be bad. I'm not into cobblestones. Wanderlust is a pretty cool club. You're seeing it from the side of the land of the left bank, but it's on the water. One of my friends DJ'd there, and it was pretty cool. It's a nice place. If you don't know what to do and you're like, oh, we want to go clubbing, but we don't know where to go, you could always just go to Wanderlust. It's pretty much guaranteed when the weather's nice. And even when it's not, because they have indoor sections, it's pretty much guaranteed to be a good time. And it's not super pretentious where you have to be really dressed up. So if you were going out like in the 11th, like Oberkampf or by the Canal Saint-Martin, something like that, so you're not wearing, you know, like going out clothes, ridiculous high heels and tiny dresses and stuff, you can go there. There are some clubs that, you know, they have a crazy dress code, but not Wanderlust. It's more hipster, so, you know, for lack of a better word, I mean, it's like very normcore. So let's find, so you'll remember this from earlier, we came this way, Gare de Austerlitz, really beautiful train station. Should we try to go down to the water? Yeah, let's do it. Just wait for these cop cars to get out of the way and we'll cross over. Bariatric ambulance. Huh. Never seen that before. Imagine that you need a special ambulance because you're heavy, and it literally has emblazoned on the side, bariatric ambulance. I'm not sure why they need to advertise that to everybody. Like, what difference does it make? If if it's a bariatric ambulance or a regular one. They have the giant sign that says, I guess if there's like a giant public crisis, you can have like the bariatric ambulance easily identified for heavy patients. I don't know. That was interesting. Never saw anything like that before. So let's find the bike lane and get back down to the waterfront. So is Paris safe? I don't know. You tell me. It's pretty interesting today. Got out before things got spicy. So yeah, with Paris protests, if you can't take the heat, get out of the place before you get kettled. It doesn't rhyme, as a saying. Some houseboats over here, some not houseboats. We are riding along the left bank of the River Seine towards the Notre Dame. Oh, there was an underpass there. That guy knew what he was doing. I have a really gross taste in my mouth now because of the fire. Like all the fire particles are in my mouth. Pretty gross. That's a police station for the diving police. The Brigade Fluviale. The River Brigade. River Brigade. My lips are getting a little bit cold. Oh, and about once a month or so, they fish out all of the bikes that people throw into the river. Oh, there's some really old ones there. OFO is a bike share that went out of business like 3 years ago or longer. Donkey bikes are down there. We used to use those. Some scooters. So people throw everything in the river and then they fish it out and they bring it over here. And people are just deciding what to do about that. And then you have the river police, the Brigade Fluviale. So let's check out the Notre Dame. It's under construction because of, you know, the fire in 2019. Oh, here's a little dog park. Some of my guests, I did a food walk last weekend. Some of my guests had questions about dog parks. And I said, I have no idea because I can picture them in my head, but I could not tell you exactly where they are because I've never had dogs here. So normally you don't see tons of police everywhere posted up like this in Paris. It's an under-policed city, but because of the protests, because of the strikes, you'll see a lot of them in these weeks. And it's just, I don't know, they're just everywhere. So these are river boats. We're in the outdoor sculpture garden. There's a party on the boat. Get your apéro on over there. Here we have a river barge. It's also a functional river. Ooh, up there, that kind of tall building with the glistening glass rooftop is the SO Hotel. And the restaurant is Bonnie, like the name Bonnie. Did we post about that yet? Let's post about it tonight. I'm going to post about it tonight because we went there recently. The food was really good. We went there after going to the Crazy Horse. So normally we have in these little niches free Latin dance lessons. So there'll be DJs that come and set up and they play like salsa, bachata, tango. And it's just a free thing where you could come and dance and hang out. Anytime the weather is good, this is a scene. There's a riverboat, the Bateau Mouche. I call them the Bateau Mouche. And that's the tip of the Ile Saint-Louis, the St. Louis Island, which is the nude sunbathing spot, but not today. And in celebration of the nude sunbathing spot, you have the very hard to make out guy jerking off. Not sure if you can make that out. Like, he's definitely jerking off back there. Because the idea is it's supposed to be subtle so that it's not completely in your face, but I'm not sure how subtle it is. So right there where those people are picnicking is the normally nude sunbathing spot. I've only seen once somebody actually naked over there. And watching them is a guy with a knob in his hand. So they made it a little bit abstract, I guess. And his fingers are reaching out because he's wishing he was there with you. So ladies, keep that in mind. The next time you want to nude sunbathe, there's always going to be some kind kind of creepy Francois. Ready to take in the scenery. So it's 7 something in Paris, but maybe almost 8 o'clock. Remind me to stop and park this bike and then take it back out, because if I go over 30 minutes, I have to pay extra. I have a membership where I get 60 rides a month as long as I don't go over 30 minutes. And when I'm streaming, I'm always forgetting and going over time. So houseboats for lucky people, except when there are lots of parties, then maybe they don't feel so lucky. Here's the statue of Saint Geneviève, Saint Geneviève, patron saint of Paris, with the Notre Dame off in the distance. And that's the Ile Saint-Louis on our right. The only part of Paris that has no metro station. There's no subway service on the St. Louis Island, Ile Saint-Louis. St. Louis of, you know, Missouri fame, was originally a French king from the Middle Ages who participated in the Crusades and brought the crown of thorns, supposedly worn by Jesus H. Christ during the crucifixion, back to Paris, and so we have it as a relic. It was in the Notre Dame. They took it out obviously in time of the fire. Let's wave at all the people on the boat. Let's see how many people we can get to wave. Hey everybody. So does Paris look safe? I don't know. What do you think? It looks pretty safe. Everybody seems to be having a good time. So the Ile Saint-Louis gives way to the Ile de la Cité, which is where the Notre Dame is, and a giant construction site, obviously. We're trying to get it ready in time for the Olympics next year. My suspicion is that it's going to be sort of ready. Perhaps it won't be completely ready in the interior. Maybe the exterior will be kind of visible. Let's see, how long have I been using this bike for? I have 13 more minutes, not bad. Okay. Let's see how we're doing. See how our stream health is good. So that means that the little hotspot that could is chugging away. So the Notre Dame, of course, had that fire in 2019, and President Macron, who's the one that everybody's so upset about, excuse me, had said that he wanted it fixed in time for the Olympic Games 2024, which sounded really far off in 2019, and now it just sounds, to be honest, quite impossible, because they've done a lot, but it was severely damaged, the structure. So yeah, one of these, I forget which one, I'd have to look it up, but one of these top floor kind of roof decks is from Emily in Paris season 1, when there was a party with the fashion designer guy. What was his name? Pierre Cadeau. And that off to the right is our city hall, across the river behind the bridge. did this once. There's no way up except the stairs. I missed my exit. Well, let's do this. Let's go back, get off the proper spot, go take a look at the Notre Dame from another angle, because here we are on the water, right next to it. La Nouvelle Scène is a kind of theater on the water. They have a burlesque show, like a cabaret. So if you wanted to do a maybe more indie version of the Moulin Rouge, you could go down there and see a burlesque on a boat right in front of the Notre Dame. Jesus is watching. Jesus is watching those titty tassels. So keep that in mind and put everything into it in that case. Give it your all, because you're right across from the Notre Dame. So they had the crown of thorns and a few other holy relics, like the cobblestones. Stabilization is coming in handy on the GoPro. They also had a piece of wood allegedly from the true cross that Jesus Christ was crucified with. Big day, but who knows if that's true. There was a scholar who went around the country to all the monasteries and abbeys that claimed to have a piece of wood from the true cross, and he said if you put it all together, it's enough for a ship. So this was supposed to be my exit the first time. Nice smooth ramp. So let's do this. Let's go to the Notre Dame. Let's go back to my neighborhood. We're going to go to the Canal Saint-Martin neighborhood, but we're going to take the scenic route. And you could tell me if you think Paris is safe or not, and if Paris is worth it. I think it's looking pretty good. Just stay away from the protest. I mean, I went into the heart of the protest today, and okay, I have a little cough from that trash can fire, but hey, it's Thursday. So we're still on the left bank. Charming cafes are. So this is the beginning of the Latin Quarter over here, Quartier Latin. And we're in one of these sexy new bike lanes thanks to Anne Hidalgo. First female mayor of Paris, big proponent of bike lanes. So you can see all the little charming places here. Well, let's take a detour. Why not? We're taking the scenic route today, so let's do it. Let's go all in. And then what we'll do is we'll come out and we'll go. We can't really go in front of the Notre Dame because of the construction. They have it blocked off. But we'll see what we can see. I haven't been there in a while. I haven't tried to get close in a long time because too many construction. I mean, now they're really ramping everything up. So we're in the Quartier Latin, the Latin Quarter. You can see people are out and about. Let's see what's new. I haven't been on the street in maybe a year. I never hang out over here. I don't know anybody who lives here, and I pretty much never regularly frequent restaurants that are over here. I do go to the Maison d'Isabelle for the really good croissant, but besides that, I'm not here that much. So it's cool to see what's going on. Et voilà, le Notre Dame. So to be honest, this is as close as we can get because those construction barriers up there are in the way. I mean, we'll go closer where all those people are, but can't really ride. And then we'll take a little ride. We'll check out the Bastille. We'll check out the Canal Saint-Martin. I was so hungry when I was sitting in that coffee. It wasn't a coffee shop. It was a bakery. I was having conversations with those people while simultaneously stuffing my mouth with a sandwich. So I was kind of hoping that they would do the talking because it was one of those days where I was busy all morning and so I didn't eat anything. And I was like, oh, I'll just find a good cafe on the route of the march. And I guess that was a good cafe on the route of the march. Decent view. Got out just in time. So here we are. We're on the river. We're on a bridge over the river right now. So we have the left bank over there with the Latin Quarter, the Quartier Latin. And over here you have the River Seine. The Justice Palace is that roof line up there. That's the Prefecture of Police kind of in front of us. The statue of Charlemagne. And the Notre Dame. Under construction. Bigly. So I'm not going to ride in there because it's a very narrow passageway with too many pedestrians, so just wouldn't be polite. So we'll go around. We'll pass the Sainte-Chapelle. Controversial opinion, you guys. Sainte-Chapelle is more interesting and prettier than the Sistine Chapel. So if you don't believe me, go visit them both and objectively tell me what you think. I went to the Sistine Chapel recently for the first time because the other time I tried to go, it was the summer and I was dressed in short shorts and a tank top, and you can't get into the Vatican like that, it turns out. Duh. Oh wow, they have a kind of viewing deck built so that you can see better. There's no bike lane going in the opposite direction here, so this is kind of the best view that we'll get. Most of the police have been taken out of the prefecture and sent to the manif, to the protest. So let's see if we can get up front. Yeah, there's no right turn on this street. What they've been doing lately is putting bike lanes going in opposite direction of the traffic, but no such luck here. So there's our view of the Notre Dame. The day turned out to be quite beautiful, which is weird for Paris because usually if they're going to talk about rain in the forecast, it's really going to rain. Today it was better than expected. I'll take it. After too many days of crap weather. So what do you say we go back to my tiny apartment, as I'm in oncoming traffic, and I finish a few articles I've been working on. I yesterday, or before I left the house, which is why I was a little late for the stream, I finished sending out the newsletter. So polished and sent out. And here we are at the edge of Saint-Germain-des-Prés in the Latin Quarter. And that's the Saint-Michel fountain. And to the right, the Palais de Justice. It's where we have our really big, really important trials. And we're going to pass what was the final residence of Marie Antoinette. She lived there for a few months before she was executed. Pretty wild. And this building, it's going to be hard to see it with the GoPro because the GoPro doesn't go tight. But this building on the corner, it's pockmarked with bullet holes from the liberation of Paris from the Nazis in World War II. So August 1944. Paris liberated itself with the help of some of its friends. And the Nazis decided to beat a hasty retreat. I'm sounding like I'm gonna do a whole stream sounding like a grandpa one day. Why I oughta. So anyway, this building, if you can see where that gold crest is, all around it there are tiny little pockmarks, and that is from people who were on top of this building acting as snipers. They were actually the police, because this is a police building, trying to shoot at the fleeing Nazis over there. So the bullets hit the building. And here is the entrance to the Sainte-Chapelle. Ooh, my throat is affected. The entrance to the Sainte-Chapelle, and up there is the spire. Trust me, you have to go see it. It is gorgeous. The tallest stained glass windows in the world without any sort of supports in between or interruptions in between. I think it's prettier than the Sistine Chapel. But just like the Mona Lisa, like Michelangelo causes a lot of stir. So, and here on this corner, this is the Conciergerie. I mentioned earlier the Halle des Gendarmes. So the gendarmes, you know, these kind of police, the people of arms. This was their headquarters for guarding the royalty. And they had their kind of canteen underground, and it was called the Hall of the Gendarmes. And this is supposedly the oldest clock in Paris. Oh, I can't remember what year it's from, but Marie Antoinette's jail cell is recreated inside there. She spent the last few months of her life there before being executed. And one day, she looked out her window and saw the heads of all of her nearest and dearest, not her children, but basically her friends and close relatives, on pikes outside of this building. And that her hair allegedly turned white overnight. So if you think you've had a bad day, you haven't had a Marie Antoinette level bad day. Why don't you get out of the street? Thank you. So look at this, you guys. Not bad, right? Thank you, stabilization on the GoPro. I have it on hyper smooth. So I fiddled with my settings yesterday after I looked back at some of the footage from the Eiffel Tower last night, and it wasn't that great. It was kind of pixelated and meh. So I think I fixed the settings, but we should have hyper smooth right now. And we have taxis use it. There's a really exciting thing that happens here, which is that the bike lane is kind of cross with the regular lanes, so you have to do like a braid. It's like a braided in sort of thing. So we're gonna go over there into the bike lane. Why do they do it like that? It's because it's after the fact that they put all this in recently, so sometimes it doesn't match up. And it's also one way, which these people didn't get the message. They didn't get the memo. Right here is the Saint-Jacques Tower, Tour Saint-Jacques. By the way, in French, Saint-Jacques, Noix de Saint-Jacques, is also the word for scallops, like sea scallops. So if you see on the menu, Saint-Jacques nuts, Noix de Saint-Jacques, it's not like a weird party story. It's just the French word for. Look at these two dogs. Like, it's like a fat version and a skinny version of the same dog, and they're having a fight in the middle of the street. Anyway, back to Tour Saint-Jacques. So it's a tower without a church. They tore down the church, but they left the tower. You can go up there, I think, from April to October. So it's a lookout point. Anything high up in Paris, the last few years, we turned it into a kind of lookout point. Rue de Rivoli, and we're on the world's, oh, you can see it when it's actually quite busy. Allegedly, this is the world's busiest bike lane. Now, we're not Amsterdam quite yet, but you know, Amsterdam has all their bike lanes more spread out. We've been adding them in bit by bit, especially since COVID, because a lot of people didn't want to take the metro, so they added in a lot of bike lanes. So this is supposedly the world's busiest bike